Okay, this is my new what if video. I actually have 3 that I'm going to do in one shot because it would be pretty quick to do these. They are simple questions, but they are pretty interesting ones. First one is, what if WWE, TNA, ROH, and a plural company of your choice all had national television deals within the United States, that is, during prime time? The plural promotion I'd choose would probably be Noah. It would either be Noah or Dragon Gate, I feel, because Noah and Dragon Gate talent has been to the United States, so there is that fan base for it. So yeah, I would say Noah or Dragon Gate. Most likely Noah, because it is more financially stable. Well, not stable, but it is a bigger company than Dragon Gate, and it does have more Western stars than Dragon Gate does. But if that was the case, WWE, TNA would pretty much be in the same boat. ROH would probably be getting ratings about 0.25 to 0.75. And same thing with Noah, probably a little bit lower than ROH. And so, but how it would affect things would be that a company like ROH would have more sturdy numbers for their shows. Say, like when they went to the West Coast earlier this year, they got 300 people in attendance. If they'd gone over there with national primetime TV deal, they'd probably get more like 600, 700, 800. Where they operate now, which is around New York, Ohio, places like that, Philadelphia, they already get pretty sturdy numbers. It's always around the same figure, has been for the past couple of years. But it would just be, they'd be able to score those types of figures in more places around the country. They would have a wider fan base. They'd be able to reach more of the country, so they'd be able to run more shows. And as for Noah, which is a TV show or the promotion I chose, they would probably do, as I said, they would probably be on the same, whatever network ROH would be, which would probably be like the Versus Network or another sporting network or something like that. And they would probably be around right after or right before ROH, and they'd probably get around the same ratings. And because of that, they would probably do US tours, not large ones or anything like that, just in 1,000-seat arenas, not anything extravagant. And if they got national TV deal, national primetime TV in the United States, it would probably just be their 1-hour show from over in Japan, just with American commentary. Maybe every now and then they'd put a Western wrestler in there instead, or whatever. Maybe change a few matches for this show, and they'd probably run more shows in the UK. They now seems to be more adamant on running in the UK than they do in the United States. So, and it would probably affect their numbers in the UK as well. And if they got on TV, what if ROH or former ROH wrestlers and TNA originals were to leave TNA? This is the second what if. I feel if that would happen, it wouldn't hurt TNA too badly. In the long run, they would just replace it with more indie talent. But a lot of the main eventers would stay or stick around in TNA because they get paid more, blah blah. The ROH wrestlers, former ROH wrestlers, you'd find probably a third to about half would go back to ROH, but they couldn't support all these guys. They wouldn't be big enough draws to pay them. So a lot of these guys would go over to Japan, would go to other independent promotions in the United States, maybe go to the WWE. TNA originals, you'd probably find a lot of them would get signed up with the WWE, and the ones who didn't would go to Mexico or Japan. So yeah, that's what would happen with that. But as I said, the TNA main eventers would probably stick around, and that would probably be best. So TNA wouldn't really be hurt that badly financially, because they would still have those big draws, big names. So financial backers would still be ready to put money behind it, because they still would have those big names, and they would replace it with good indie talent. I think it would hurt the product in terms of quality of wrestling, because a lot of the guys they would hire would all be younger, more green. A lot of them would be good, because they'd probably get these guys from promotions like World League Wrestling, which is Harley Race's promotion, which has when you graduate from that school, you have a tryout match with WWE, TNA. I think they have a working agreement with ROH. You'd probably go wrestling ROH. So a lot of guys from World League Wrestling, which are high quality wrestlers, would go over to TNA, but they still would be green, so it would hurt the wrestling product, and they probably would continue. They would go in even more entertainment based, and the X Division would take more of a back seat, and it would just sort of send TNA more in the direction of WWE, and they would also scramble for ex-WWE guys. What if Shane? This is number 3. What if Shane was in control of WWE? You would find that because Stephanie and Vince have more of a stranglehold on Raw than they do SmackDown and ECW. And if Shane was in control, you probably wouldn't see that many changes with SmackDown and ECW. I feel they're good as they are, but Raw would definitely change. It would, you would see. I feel you would see a lot more young guys come up in Raw, because Triple H wouldn't be able to use politics. I don't like to say it's just Triple H's fault, but a lot of the reasons why a lot of Raw guys, a lot of young guys don't get over on Raw is because they find it easy just to take guys from SmackDown and ECW, just put them on Raw, and it sort of places a glass ceiling on anybody getting over on Raw. So, and Shane would probably just let SmackDown and ECW keep their talent, and in exchange for that, he would just raise it or try to get his own. You'd probably find there would be more of a wrestling emphasis on Raw. And another thing you would definitely find is that smart fans would be heard, or internet fans would be heard. Like if they say, "Oh, we want Cena to turn heel," you would probably find Shane would, being in control, would turn a guy like Cena heel. So that would and that probably would drastically change the thing, because people would start turning back. I think it would really help WWE if Shane was in control of at least Raw, because it would just freshen up the product, give a new feel to it. And Shane, I don't think he would really feel that big guys are the guys who need to be pushed like Vince and Stephanie do, because they're both very big on big guys, even though they're not really the guys you should be pushing, because they can't wrestle, can't do a drop kick, can't take a bump, etc. And so quality of wrestling would go up. I mean, quality of wrestling has gone up recently, but as you can see on shows on SmackDown and ECW, which are run by Michael Hayes and Dusty Rhodes respectively, there is a greater emphasis on wrestling. There's matches are a bit longer, there's less promos, and they're all around just better shows. And I feel if Shane was put in charge of Raw, he has more of that mindset, whereas Vince really has that old school. Vince and Stephanie have that old 80s type of mentality, whereas Shane, I think he'd be more in touch with what's popular, or what are the current conventions in professional wrestling. He'd look more at the indie scene and see what fans are enjoying in that, and you would see more of an emphasis on wrestling, and in turn you would probably see that influence on TNA and ROH. They would all step up their game. I think TNA would step up their wrestling game if they saw it, and ROH would just probably become more popular, because fans would be more accepting of good wrestling, and they would see that good wrestling is something that is good, instead of just entertainment, storylines and skits. So if Shane was in control of WWE, it would really influence the whole business. I think it would, just because WWE is the most influential and their biggest show is Raw. So if you were to change their most influential, the most influential company's main show, it would really radically change the business altogether, how it's done, not just in the United States, but in Japan, in Mexico, and other things, because when something happens in the United States, you can always sort of see things, how it changes things in other countries. So anyway, I'm going to be back probably tomorrow, maybe sometime in the next couple of days, with another video, probably one talking about Kurt Angle, another what if just involving Kurt Angle. Anyway, thank you and goodbye.